welcome to another Lambda Ethereum Consensus Daily. So, share the YouTube link.
I think I'm losing your audio a little bit.
Oh, yeah? Maybe it's because it's not taking...
I mean, I'm hearing you well.
It's okay? Okay.
I think so.
Program, we are live. And that's it. Okay. Updates. Yesterday, I have the PR for the early subnet subscription almost ready, but I was going to do a particular test in the main spec. It will be a long running test, and I found some things in that long running test. One of them being related to something that we just discussed yesterday, and that it was probably something that will be tackled later. It was related to messages coming to us when we didn't yet created the subnet, and things like break because there was no check for that. It just tried to go through it and explodes. The thing is, one of the change that I made was not what we discussed yesterday. Yesterday we discussed maybe we need to see if we have the same root, and if we have the same root, just create the subnet. What I understood was that this wasn't really something that we want to do, because the message that we are receiving were not for the subnets we were interested in. So there was something there regarding to unsubscribing, right? Um, we already have an issue for subscribing, because unsubscribing right now is just like a leave and a join for the topic. So what I did was trying to just unsubscribe and subscribe in the same moment that we start the subscription, right? Instead of just letting it go and trust in what should be unsubscribing, that was the collection of the aggregates, the stop collection of the aggregates. Then what I do was just start unsubscribing early also. So I had the map set difference between what we are subscribed in the previous slot and what we have now, and just to subscribe for the ones that we are not interested anymore, and subscribe to the ones that we missed. Um, I'm testing that right now, so I don't know if this already solved the issue. There was an easy solution, anyways, like just ignoring those messages. That works, but hey, we don't want to be receiving a lot of messaging from something that we are not interested in. So that's why I prefer to make the change here. So in the end, I'm going to tackle two issues, right? The one that I were tackling, the 100, the 1,300, and the one that I created yesterday that I wasn't thinking to tackle, but given that it popped up, the 1,301, that it was related to these subnets not created. Yeah, that's it. It's in place. It's working, but I just don't wanted it to be working. I wanted it to really not receiving a lot of messages that we are not interested in right now. And I'm testing that right now. And if it works, I let you know, because the PR was open for review yesterday, because yesterday everything was working. But today in the morning I said, well, I'm not so confident about just receiving a lot of messages that we don't care. So yeah, instead of waiting and solving this in another issue, I just wanted to unsubscribe right now. So that's my update for today. I'm going to continue working on that, mostly in the testing, but I guess it's already finished. If the test goes well, everything is finished. If it's not, I need to debug a little bit more. And if that's ready, I'm going to start working on another one of those PRs related to the subnet info, especially the one that makes us not get the slot -1 attestation that we discussed yesterday. So I'm going to probably take that one from.
All right, yeah, that sounds awesome. I support the decision of making it a two-in-one PR. Just as a clarification, yesterday when we were discussing a possible fix for the aggregated attestation solution, I think that you mentioned that one of the solutions was to compare with the current route and ignore it if it didn't match the current route. And I think that I was yesterday thinking about a different solution that's not that one, but I also didn't bring it up because I kind of thought that we were talking about the same thing. Um, but the actual different thing was, hey, we can like get whatever comes, and then when we start an attestation, like when we are about to start the subnet object from the validator, then we check if there's an existing one or not, and if there's an existing one, then we just like reuse that, and if not, then we just start a new one. So that's one possible approach to the solution that may
Yes.
it may be easier in the sense that you don't care about what's the current state of things when you receive the attestation. You just save it, and you only care about the state of things when you are building something from a validator's perspective, which is the actual state that you care about.
Yes.
Because like yeah,
Sorry.
sorry, go
I
ahead.
think that's exactly how it's done right now, except for the part that
Oh,
creating without when it's not there. So right now, and it was like this since I
all right.
started making the refactors, because this doesn't change it yet. The creation of the subnet, it's made when the first one of our validators make the first attestment, right? When it's going to attest, it creates the subnet. The thing was that sometimes in the middle of a long running session, I saw some of those crash because the subnet was not created and we were trying to add a new message. That doesn't
Right, yeah.
happen like a lot of times, but what I saw now that started to debug what was happening, it wasn't really an issue of the root of the difference of the other information about the detection, because the information was the same. The thing was that we were receiving, for example, a message for subnet 3 when we are not interested in aggregating any one of subnet 3. So that's why it was
Ah,
created yet. The issue was that we still were subscribed to the same uh, old old subnet that we cared about in another slot, but now we are not caring about it anymore, and we just receive it more. For example, in this case, the one that I saw a lot of them right now with those tests was related to sync committees. We just are interested in every slot for different sync committees. One of the things that started to happen when we subscribed early was that we started to get a lot of other sync committee messages that we are not interested in because it was from a past slot. And yeah, the thing is, I'm trying to like unsubscribe early from them in the same place that I'm going to subscribe to the new ones. Um, that's the change that I added, but it appeared when we started to subscribe early to the split. When we weren't subscribing early, when we just subscribe at the same moment that we create the sync committee message broadcast or the attestation, this doesn't happen. But yeah, I'm trying to make sure that it's not an issue anymore. But the thing is, we don't need to create anyone because anything that we are receiving is part of the thing that we want to create. I'm not sure if what will happen if we were like, I don't know, we weren't executing like the second third, and in the third when we try to publish an aggregate, we didn't created any sync committee broadcast or any attestation, and that's a case where okay, we may be receiving things from others that we didn't create it because we like bypassed the second third and we don't create anything. That's a place where we could add the check that you mentioned. Right now, what it's doing is easier. Is like, hey, I didn't receive anything. I just published an aggregate of 0, and that's not the best thing. But I think we can like work on it later because I don't think this should happen like a lot in a normal scenario, except that we have a lot of delays, and that's another problem that we need.
yeah, for sure. And it's also not as prioritary as other issues like the attestation one that you were mentioning before, like the one that we're not including the attestations from the previous slot, which is far more critical than these optimizations.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't call them optimizations exactly, but they are very small
Yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah. But things that work as exactly as we want, except that some things. I'm going to create. I'm going to add this information to an issue I didn't close, the one that we discussed yesterday, that maybe we want to look at it later. I'm going to add this information that we are discussing. Hey, what happens if we have a delay in the second third, and in the third, we just try to aggregate something that we don't have. If others give us information of attestations of sync committee message broadcast, they will be discarded. That's something that we know that it's not what we want, but also it's not what will happen in most of the cases. So yeah, I'm going to add this information to that issue to not lose what we were talking here.
All right. Yeah, that sounds perfect. I don't have any more questions, I think.
Awesome. And I don't have any more updates. So yeah, I'm hope to have this working in, like, right now. I hope to start the stream and look at the test and everything was working. But if not, I'm going to continue on this, and then I'm going to take the other one. So great. Thanks, Tommy, for being here as always and make the questions, because it makes more easy to explain and for others to understand what's happening. Yeah, I hope to see you all again next week on Monday, right? So have a great weekend.
On Monday.
Bye.